Josh Lafazan, who actually was elected to office at 18 years old. Congratulations. I believe you were on a school board in New York City, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, suburbs of the city on Long Island.
So congratulations for having a career before you graduated college. But in terms of this whole TikTok trend, like, is that going to reach Gen Z voters, even though it might be like a little bit of side eye?
Sure. So I think the fact that brat has entered the lexicon of the American voter is indicative of who has the momentum in this election, right? And the numbers speak for themselves. Since Kamala Harris became the de facto nominee a week ago, she's now shifted ahead in these key states, and it's driven by the surge in young voter enthusiasm. Remember, just a week ago, Biden was up 4 points with younger voters within that margin of error. Harris is now up 20% with these younger voters. So she moved up a point in Arizona, a point in Pennsylvania, 2 points in Georgia. The Wall Street Journal finds she erased Trump's lead over Biden nationally. She's within that 2-point margin of error. Trump 49, Harris 47, and it's being fueled by this infusion of enthusiasm and excitement of young voters. It is clear who has the momentum heading into the DNC this week.
But there are a lot of people, especially over the past 8 years, who have understandably thought that polls sometimes are not to be as credible as they maybe once were, and that we need to look at a whole bunch of polls at once to really get a picture of whether she's erased a lead in a matter of 6 days. So, I mean, in terms of this young vote, there has been this swing where you see, brat movements over here, but then you also see a very significant move for conservative values among Gen Zers. Have you looked into that at all?
I have, and obviously, polling has to be taken with a grain of salt. Polling was ironclad 50 years ago when the landline was the dominant form of communication. A pollster would call somebody's home and they'd speak to them for a long period of time. That's how you get really granular in the data. It is virtually impossible to reach anybody with a landline under the age of 40 today. So texting, email, social media, polling has continued to burgeon. But what I'm looking for is more indicative of less of polling and more of what's actually happening on the ground. Right. For Democrats right now, the enthusiasm gap was erased. Biden had a 37% enthusiasm gap with prime Democratic voters. 81% say they're enthusiastic about Kamala, and the proof is in the pudding. 170,000 young volunteers have signed up in swing states to volunteer just in the last week alone. And there continues to be this trend of these targeted Zoom calls. Tens of thousands of people on these calls raising millions. Now, Republicans are prepared to make the same kind of outreach on TikTok, on Twitter, on all different social medias. And of course, they've been very effective with groups like Turning Point USA going after younger conservative voters. You really look at the Spotify top 10, and whether it's Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson, younger conservatives are getting their news from different sources. So The race for the youth vote is on, but I will tell you the enthusiasm gap has been completely erased. And so going from Biden being up 4% to Harris having a 20-point lead with these young people, it is clear who has the momentum in terms of young voters heading into really what's going to be a 100-day contest.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something, Josh. You're very informed and very impressive, I might add. But is it enthusiasm or is it desperation? Because I think that there is a little bit of, oh my God, I'm grabbing onto dear life. You have young people who grew up in a time of virtual college, virtual high school, no graduations, student loan debt that might have been erased and then wasn't erased, and they're uncertain about their future. So should the word be enthusiastic or should it be something else?
You make a great point, and there are infinite synonyms, whether it's enthusiasm, whether it's fear, desperation, whether it's exuberance, whatever the word may be. You can look at this through a bifocal lens, right? The first lens of that enthusiasm and the second lens of fear. And quite frankly, the Democrats have been ingenious, especially these younger Democrats, in using social media to translate fear of policy into action. And what's remarkable is it hasn't been focused on Donald Trump. It's been focused on J.D. Vance. I like to say that J.D. Vance is getting the Sarah Palin treatment, and the Kamala Harris social media team is capitalizing on this contrast. If you look at J.D. Vance, he has in his own home region, he's got a 44% unfavorability rate. And he's got a negative 6% approval rating. That's lower than Dan Quayle and Sarah Palin. And in the last week alone, and this has been a week to remember, tens of millions of impressions on stories that J.D. Vance said childless adults should be taxed more and have less votes, that only sad cat ladies vote, which is an egregious attack on women, which is a constituency Republicans have to make up ground with. He criticizes the masculinity of others, but the Kamala group on social media is reminding everyone that he wears eyeliner. And in the weirdest twist in recent memory of any election I've ever remembered, in the last week, he's had to deny a story that he had intercourse with a couch and that he searched for illicit images of dolphins on the internet.
This has been
the worst week in, well, I believe, recent political memory for a candidate. And so, to your point, it's not just about enthusiasm for their candidate. It's about real anger and fear about what the other candidate would do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.